Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Tonight is the August the 7th. This show will be for August the 8th, of course. Tomorrow, there are 3 more games in the W. So at the time of this recording, I'm watching Atlanta, Chicago. It's pretty much the end of the fourth quarter. And I think I told you guys to take if I was playing that game, I was going to take the over. And it looked terrible. I think the total was as low as 141 earlier in the game. Atlanta, played around with their food early, but they look like they're going to get the job done. I think we're like 148. So don't look like we're going to get an over in this game. Because Atlanta couldn't score. I think they had like 6 points in the first quarter or something like that. The WNBA is crazy. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence because these teams are so up and down, but neither here nor there. The one thing that I didn't bet that game. The one bet that I did make was Kelsey Plum over her 5.5 assists, which we talked about yesterday. And then I ended up adding, right before starting the show, the Mercury and the Fever under, just kind of trusting the handicap that I talked about from last night. So hopefully that's a winner by the time you guys are watching this video. And let's jump into it for tomorrow. All right, let's go. Let's see if we can get back on track with Jackson, because Jackson didn't have any player props for yesterday. So I actually wanted to ask Jackson about a few player props, but I didn't really get anything of note, like anything that I thought was of substance. So I asked Jackson about the spread between the Las Vegas Aces and the Seattle Storm, and I'll give you guys the analysis here. It says that so first it starts off with the game narrative and recent form. It says the Las Vegas Aces are riding a wave of momentum, having secured their 4th win in their last 5 games with a 78-72 road victory over the Golden State Valkyries. Asia Wilson continues to be a dominant force for the Aces, showcasing her scoring prowess with a 27-point effort in their last outing, maintaining her position as one of the league's top scorers at 21.5 points per game. The Aces have also been strong against the spread, covering in each of their past 5 victories, which that's not true because and their wins. Okay. So when they win, they cover. On the other side, the Seattle Storm are looking to rebound after a tough stretch, having dropped 3 consecutive home games. However, they've shown resilience on the road, securing quality wins against the top Eastern Conference teams like the New York Liberty and Atlanta Dream. The road trip might be just what they need to shake off the recent struggles. An important note for the Storm is the potential debut of all-star guard Brittany Sykes, recently acquired from the Mystics, which could provide a significant boost to their lineup. Looking at their head-to-head matchup this season, the Storm have held the upper hand, holding the 2-1 straight up and against the spread record against the Las Vegas Aces. Their last encounter saw the Seattle beat the Las Vegas Aces 90-83 as a 3-point road underdog, with the game going over the total. So as far as analysis, it says the Las Vegas Aces are currently favored to win the matchup, with the spread generally around -1 to 1.5. While the Aces have been strong ATS recently, 4-1 in their last 5 games, the Storm historical performance against the Aces this season, particularly their 2-1 straight up and against the spread record, including a road win as an underdog, is compelling. The potential addition of Brittany Sykes could also provide an unexpected edge for Seattle, given the tight standings and Seattle's ability to perform on the road. Taking the points with Seattle seems like a strong play. My recommendation is to back the Seattle Storm plus 1.5 at -114 odds. The Storm have proven they can hang with and even beat the Aces, and getting points in this game that's expected to be a close one offers great value. So take the Seattle Storm tomorrow is what Jackson says. And let's jump into it, man. As always, the link is in the description if you guys want to check Jackson out for player prop size totals, overs, unders, team totals, MLB, NFL, you name it. It's all right there for the taking with the AI sports betting model. So first game up for tomorrow is, let's see, it's not supposed to be this game. We just talked about this game, but I messed up a little bit. So let's go back. All right, so let's go Mystics and Lynx. This is the first game if we're going in order tomorrow. Mystics and Lynx is 619, 620. So this is the first game on the board for tomorrow. Is the Minnesota Lynx and the Washington Mystics. I'm sorry. So the Washington Mystics been making trades like crazy. They just acquired Alicia Clark from the Seattle Storm for Brittany Sykes. Then they also shipped Aaliyah Edwards off to Connecticut and traded her for JC Sheldon. So Alicia Clark will make her debut, which is crazy because she's traveling from Seattle to Washington. She's going to play. But JC Sheldon will not make her debut. Of course, she got traded a day late, but I don't know. I just kind of thought that maybe she might play too. So Sheldon won't play. Alicia Clark will play. On the Minnesota Lynx side of things, they will be without their MVP candidate, which is Nafisha Collier, of course. And Jessica Shepard is listed as probable in this game. I'm guessing she's going to be out there. So it's a really tough. I'll tell you guys right off the rip. Like I had already thought about this game a couple days ago. The Washington Mystics was the team that I bet on Sonia Citron. I got off of Washington after they made the trade, but I bet on Sonia Citron in the last game, and she came out. I think she was like 0 for 5 in the first half, and this was against Chicago Sky defense. I mean, I'm talking about. Don't get too worse than the Chicago Sky defense. So she couldn't hit a shot in that spot. I think the Mystics are going to struggle to kind of like. It's not a lot of leaders on this team anymore. I think the offense is going to struggle to continue to struggle the same way they did against the Chicago Sky in their last game. This is their third straight road game. They've been struggling even before Brittany Sykes got traded. They have lost 3 in a row, 4 of their last 6 of their last 8. They failed to cover 3 straight. And this was a solid team going into the All-Star break. And then remember, they lost to the Sparks, and that kind of ballooned into another loss and another loss. And next thing you know, they're 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games. So I don't really want anything to do with the Mystics right now. Here's the thing about the Lynx, though. We know that the Lynx are the best team in the WNBA, at least statistically and on paper. And they already beat the Liberty too. I just think the Liberty is still better. I've been on the record for saying that. The Lynx are good. 10-6-1 against the spread at the crib. They're 7-2-1 against the spread in their last 10 games overall. They've won 3 straight. And they won 7 of their last 8 as well. The thing with the Lynx is, like, I always talk about this, and I said it in the last game as well. When you're missing your star player, you always play well in that first game, and then it's like a little bit of an exhale. You got the Mystics coming in. You already beat them the last time that you played them. The last time these two teams played, the Mystics actually lost by 13. I think they were getting 8.5 points in that game, but they did beat this Minnesota Lynx team. Now, granted, they had were at full strength, but they did beat the Washington Mystics in DC earlier this season. It might have been their first loss of the season for the Minnesota Lynx, that is. So I don't know. You're coming back home. Like, I know that the Mystics are not as good as the Minnesota Lynx. I guess as easy as it seems, sometimes I guess it can be that easy. You just take the Minnesota Lynx, I guess. I don't want the Minnesota Lynx, though. I also don't want the Mystics. So it was enough to kind of keep me off of the side. As far as the total, it seems super square, but I think the Mystics, again, I think they struggle to score. Their team total is like 74.5. I can see a game where they struggle to score 70 points. Offensively, like I said, they're going through the motions, trying to figure it out without Brittany Sykes being there. Also won't have JC Sheldon there, who's pretty much a 40% three-point shooter on the season. No Aaliyah Edwards now. They're also just not a good offense. They're 11th in offensive rating. You can see that on the here on the season. They're 10th over the last 5 games, so it hasn't got much better. They're also playing at a super slow pace. You see 7th on the screen. That's for the full season, but they're playing at the 10th slowest pace over their last 5 games. And you got a Minnesota team that, if they are locked in, with the addition of Dejanay Carrington, 2nd in defensive rating over their last 5 games, the number 1 in opponent points allowed as well. And Washington is a team that, doesn't get a lot of easy buckets. Minnesota's not going to turn the ball over. So it's not like Washington's going to be able to get out and run. Washington also a team that don't shoot a lot of threes. And they don't shoot the 3 well either. They're 10th on the season in 3-point percentage, 12th in the last 5 games as far as 3-point percentage as well. So I think the Mystics going to struggle to score the basketball. A little bit of a flat spot against Minnesota. And also, last but not least, the Minnesota Lynx got the rematch against the New York Liberty in New York this time for their next game. So pretty sure it's in New York. Yeah, it is in New York. I couldn't get there with anything. As far as player props go, though, I think this is what I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable playing. Just because, man, size and totals in the WNBA, like, there's no consistency, in my opinion, with these teams in the WNBA. I just watched the Atlanta Dream score 23 points like at halftime against the Chicago Skyball teams. Like, I don't even know how that's possible, but stuff like that be happening in the WNBA. All right, so far as player props go, there's one in this game that stuck out to me when I was looking, and I'm gonna share that with you guys because I think I'm gonna play a couple of these player props if I'm being honest. So the one that I want to share from this game is actually, let's change screens so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Okay, minimize me. Alana Smith, love Alana to death. I do think this number is a tad bit too high. So you can see here, Alana Smith up and over, well, not even up and over, but Alana Smith under her 17.5 points plus rebounds. I think that number's a little bit too high. You can see that she's under in 9 straight games here. Of course, this number is just only inflated because Nafisa Collier isn't playing. And then her most recent games without Fee, she did get in foul trouble. You can see that was the game against Seattle. She only played 22 minutes in this game. Go look at her fouls. She did have 5 fouls in this game. Finished with just 6 points and 4 rebounds. You see that here. She did go over in the first game that they played between these two teams in DC. And that game was also played without Fee. But she did go under in the second matchup that they played. And that game was in Minnesota. So she's 2-2 to the over/under on the full season. If Fee hasn't played. But you look at this Washington team, you can see here, they're a pretty good rebounding team, third in as far as rebounds allowed. They also give up the 6th fewest points if they can get back to playing some defense. So I like Alana Smith to go under. I think Courtney Williams can go down there and grab some boards. I think Dejanay Carrington can have more of an offensive, put up some offensive production for this team. And you still got Jess Shepard, who I'm expecting to play. So I think Alana Smith can stay under tomorrow. I do. I really, really do. This is my top play for the game outside of potentially a Mystics team total under. But I just don't like that the Minnesota Lynx have a game against the New York Liberty, and we know the ramifications of that game based on what happened in the finals last year. So that's my thought process on the game. I didn't bet anything though, but if I am betting, I'm betting on Alana Smith under 17.5 points plus rebounds. All right, let's move over to the next one, which is the Wings and the Liberty. Not going to be on this one for long. The New York Liberty will be without, the 3 horsemen that they've been without recently. No Stewie, no Kennedy Burke, and I'm pretty sure no Nair Sabli as well. Those 3 players have been missing. I think that they will continue to be out. And then on Dallas Wings side of things, Misha Hans-Allen didn't play in the last game. She is listed as probable, so she's supposed to return. And then Paige Beckers is listed as questionable. But Koklanis, or however you pronounce the Dallas Wings coach name, he did say that hopefully she'll be fine to play. But who knows? I could see, with Paige, I think it's like a strain too. I could see them potentially, letting her sit out. And if she sits out, this total is going to continue to get back down. So this I actually didn't even update. I guess I forgot to update the line here. Let me just go in and change this real quick. So this is Wings. It's not Wings versus Liberty. It's actually Liberty versus Wings now. Liberty will be on the road. In no way the Wings are laying any kind of points at all, right? They are +9. And this total has come down from what we just saw to 172.5. And this one was pretty quick of a handicap. I don't want to lay points with the New York Liberty. 2-10-1 is their ATS record on the road. And if Paige doesn't play, they probably will win this game by 15 or 20 points. Like, unless they come out super flat and they just overlook them, I think they're going to really, really struggle to score the basketball. We took Dallas team total up and over in the last game, and it was very, very frustrating to watch them shoot 6 for 27 from the three-point line. 22%, I think it was. I don't want to bet on Dallas offense to be able to score the basketball. You see here that their offensive rating is 8th, but without Paige Beckers, it'll be 17th out of 13 teams. And also, even with Paige Beckers, she's the only person that's doing anything. I think she has 4 straight games with 20+ points. But Enrique is struggling, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a second. And I don't know how to pronounce the big center's name that they have, but she shot like 0 for 90. She might as well have her eyes closed in the last game. So I don't really want to bet on the Liberty because they haven't been good on the road, 2-10-1 against the spread. Even in that game against Dallas the other day, they still didn't cover the number. So the numbers have been, a little bit inflated. New York, they do have back-to-back wins against Connecticut and Dallas, but they failed to cover 5 of their last 6 games. This tells me, like I said, that they are a little bit overvalued in the market. They also got the game against the Lynx coming up on Sunday, which is a rematch of the finals, a rematch of a loss that they just took a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I don't want Dallas either. They've lost 3 or 4, but at least they've covered 3 of their last 4 games, back-to-back unders, because their offense, like I said, has really been struggling. And then the other cherry on top was when Liberty play a team that they just played, they haven't covered all season. They're 0-2 in the next game if they're playing the team back-to-back. So I don't like that. I know we saw earlier one time against the I think it was against it was against Connecticut, of course. We just saw that. And then the first time was against the Golden State Valkyries. They smoked the Valkyries, and then the Valkyries almost beat them in that next game, but they definitely covered. So Liberty, I don't think they're in a great spot. I don't want nothing to do with the Wings, especially not knowing if Paige Beckers is going to play. But Arike, under her points prop, potentially under her points and assists, and I know she had a really, really big game the first time that these two teams played, like a little over a week ago. But I still think we can fade Arike, man. Arike is, especially if Paige plays. If Paige doesn't play, I don't know how much I want to fade her then. But I got to start. I talk about this a lot. I don't play it a lot, but taking Arike under her points is points plus assists is actually good money. You can see it. You can see the numbers here. She's under in 3 straight games, 14, 13, and what is this, 18. She's listed at 19.5. We'll see. I'm not going to play this now, of course, but we'll see what happens with Paige Beckers. If Paige plays, then I think that this number comes down. I think I still would be interested in the under. And if Paige gets ruled out, I think this number will go up, and then I'll be even more interested in the under. But she's in a pretty bad slump. She's shooting 37% from the field, 22% from the 3-point line in her last what was these numbers? In her last 5 games, I think. So her last 10 games, she's shooting 36% from the field, 35% from the 3-point line. Her last 5 games, it's just been really bad, man. 37%, you can see here, 22% from the 3-point line. Arike just not getting the job done, man. She's just not efficient either. So she's one of the reasons Dallas can't score any points, because you can't really rely on Arike. So I consider Arike under. That's something on my short list. Also, this is going to sound very, very weird, and y'all might think I'm tripping, but I also considered the New York Liberty team total under. So it's kind of correlated with the Liberty not being able to, like, how they haven't really been covering spreads. Their team total is like 90.5. They don't need to get to 91 points in this game, in my opinion, to beat the Wings. It's not like the Wings offense is great. In the 5 games that the Liberty have actually played without Stewie, since she went down with the injury, the Liberty only got 90 points one time, and that was against the Minnesota Lynx in a game that they went absolutely nuclear, both teams, from the 3-point line. This could be a flat spot where their offense just isn't clicking. We've seen that on the road, even against Connecticut, which I guess Connecticut is still better than Dallas defensively. But yeah, they stayed under in 3 straight games, under the team total for the last 5 without Stewie, like I mentioned. Like I said, 90 points is just a lot, man. So thinking that a team is just going to, automatically get to 90, I would pump the brakes a little bit. Liberty offense, especially, has not looked that great on the road either. So Liberty team total under 90.5. Rike Gumbawale under her 19.5 points and assists, but I will wait to see if Paige is going to play in that spot. And let's go to the next one. Aces in the no. I'm putting Aces in the Valkyries. All right, let's update this too. So this should say Aces versus it actually should say Storm versus Aces. I didn't change this. So Storm versus Aces. This line is Aces -1 right now. Total 161.5. Haven't really seen any movement on the total. The spread has been going. I saw this up to 1.5, and then I also saw it come down, back down to 1. But the total hasn't really moved at all, which is interesting. I think Brittany Sykes is supposed to make her debut tomorrow with Seattle. I think outside of that, Seattle's going to be at full strength. They won't have Alicia Clark, of course. And then on the Aces side of things, I think they're going to be at full strength tomorrow as well. So we'll see what that looks like. Very, very difficult game. I'll be honest with you guys. So the Storm have actually been trash. They've been really, really trash, right? They have covered 3 of their last 10 games. They've lost 3 straight. They lost to the Sparks, lost to the Fever, lost to the Minnesota Lynx in the most recent game without an official Collier. They failed to cover in all 3 of those games as well. And actually, if you take out the last win that Seattle has against Connecticut, coming off a loss to the Washington Mystics, they've lost and failed to cover 4 straight games. In Seattle, like it's a little bit of offense, a little bit of defense. They just struggling right now. Here's the thing with Seattle though. For whatever reason, they've been better on the road. They're 9-5 against the spread on the road. They as a road dog this season, I think they may be the only undefeated ATS team. They're 3-0 against the number against the spread on the road as a dog, and 2-1 straight up in this spot. And they've already gone into Vegas and beaten this Aces team as well. So can they do it again? I think that they will be super motivated, but the Aces have actually started to look pretty good as well. Back-to-back wins for them. Granted, they've been against the Golden State Valkyries, once at home and once on the road, but they've actually, outside of playing for their last fourth game in 7 nights for the Aces, because they have been kind of playing, they had a back-to-back and they had to travel and all that good stuff. But the Aces have actually looked good. Aces have actually looked good, recently. I think they won, I think it's 4 of their last 6 games. If they're not playing against a super good team, right? We just saw them get murked against the Minnesota Lynx. They've actually lost to Minnesota, I think, 2 of their last 10 games. But they lost to Indiana as well. But if they're not playing against a team that can, that's going out there getting stops, they actually do look pretty serviceable. So I think, I don't know, it's kind of go time for the Aces. I don't know how much I believe in Storm. And I don't really want to waste your time going back and forth because I have no idea if I was going to even bet this game, who I would bet to win. It's more of a coin flip for me too. So best of luck. Maybe this, the Storm with the rest advantage is good. But then again, Aces looking a lot better. I don't know what to do with that. What I do know, and this is the fourth, last thing I'll say, this is the 4th meeting of the season. Seattle has won 2 of the 3. They've covered 2 of the 3, and they won the most recent matchup in Vegas as a 3-point dog, like Jackson mentioned. And Jackson actually likes Seattle too, so we'll see. I probably won't bet this out of the total. What I do want to bet, and I'm thinking this is actually looking like my top look for tomorrow so far. So I'm going back to Outlier again, and I'm looking at Miss Gray, looking at Chelsea. This is Outlier, of course. The link is in the description if you guys want to check it out. Under 14.5 points and assists for Miss Chelsea Gray. You can see here, she's under, in 8 of her last 10 games, averaging 12.7. That number is here. Points plus assists combined in her last 10 games. And her shot really has just been off. She's shooting 37% from the field. You can see that. 24% from the 3-point line. Like really, really struggling. You narrow this down, right? This is last 10. You can see here. You narrow it down to last 5. Look at these numbers. Field goal percentage drops. I told you guys she was shooting, 37% in her last 10, drops down to 33% in her last 5. I told you she was shooting 24% from the 3-point line, drops down to 22%. So she struggled even more in her last 5 games as well. And then, of course, you got the Storm coming off 3 straight losses, for the first time all season. Brittany Sykes is in there with, Skylar Diggins. I think that's going to make it even more difficult. If we look at the head-to-head matchups this season, she's under in 2 of the 3 games. You can see the one that she went over, she barely got there. 8-3 in the first matchup and 7-7 in the second matchup. And then 10-6 in this matchup here. So I think Chelsea Gray is a fade, man. With Joe Lloyd coming off the bench, she's been an offensive spark, playing against her old team, of course. Finally into a rhythm, into a groove. Couldn't talk anybody off, playing her threes again, especially if they come back out at 1.5, which they probably are. And then also you got Asia, kind of taking things into her own hands, understanding where they sit in the standings, understanding that they need to continue to win. They got a big win last night against the Golden State Valkyries. So I could see, a world where Asia continues to thrive, where, Jackie Young, who has been scoring a ton recently as well, kind of picking it up. I can see a world where Chelsea Gray is not to say that she's not going to be needed, but she may not be able to perform as well. And I would just kind of keep backing her to go under. So I like some unders tomorrow. And getting into a quick recap. This is everything I talked about. Under on Alyssa Smith, points plus rebounds. Under on Enrique, points and assists. But that's pending, what happens with Paige Beckers. New York team total under 90.5. And then Chelsea Gray under her 14.5 points and assists. I think I'll end with this. I think as we get closer to the end of the regular season, we're going to start to see teams, start checking the standings and start to play with a little bit more effort and energy. And I think that's what's going to be able to propel us back into a winning season overall, is when we get the motivation of these teams. We're going to start to see some consistency, and you just kind of buy in on those teams that you watch and you feel like are, consistent. So that's how I'm thinking about it, man. Link in the description as always for all the plays that I make, resources, link in the description for all those as well. Check out Jackson Out Loud, Money Baller, Odds Jam, all those things. Hit the like button on the way out, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. I'm not sure when I'm gonna go back live in the morning, just because the schedule has been super hectic recently, but we'll eventually get back there, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy your weekend. I'm out.